What's up, guys? Welcome to the final video for this channel. It's been a pleasure, being able to drop all these videos, just having a unique perspective because I know this is something that's not really seen on YouTube, in terms of poetry, but in a very spiritual sense. It's been fun being able to bring my perception and my perspective in terms of just higher science, higher evolve, philosophy, and just perception, having a perception of existence. But yeah, it's been fun to ask questions because questions will give you the answers, and the whole point of this channel was to you know motivate people to just ask questions, just okay, why is this way it is, understand the mechanism of life, understand the mechanism of existence. You know what I mean? It's very important. So this is the last poem. It's called "Last of a Dying Breed." So I think it fits the perfect video, the title of the video. Um, so yeah, you know how it goes. I read it and I break it down. So let's get to it. A lone warrior does not beg. Sorry, let me get some water real quick because my throat has been. It's winter over here, so get some water. Yeah, this book is called "The Poetic Healing." So if you do want a book, you do want a copy, just comment down below on this video. If you're interested. This is a book written by me, by the way, also. So yeah, a last of a dying breed. A lone warrior does not beg for approval. The will to conquer is portrayed through their visual. Pain is the fuel to their engine of passion. Their ease of mind is gained through personal satisfaction. No opposition or roadblock shall distort their path. The power of their mind influences all masses without contact. Self reflection allows the opportunity for re-evaluation. Stand firm when faced with opposition in all occasions. Certain blockages in life may prevent any perception of success. Therefore, once the issue is detected, work more and talk less. Each individual is judged based on his or her characteristics. However, the mind of an indigo being defies the laws of physics, and that is the last of a dying breed. Now it says, a lone warrior does not beg for approval. The will to conquer is portrayed through their visual. So you will only know who you truly are when you're by yourself. You will never know who you are when you're in a group setting, because in a group setting, it depends on what you guys are doing. Everyone's gonna, so when it comes to groups, it's either you're doing what the group is doing or you're doing what you're doing by yourself, right? So either you have a group that agrees that okay, we're all going to do what we're going to do, or you have a group where we're all doing the same thing. But the thing is that when you're by yourself, you know who you are, because then you don't have no one else to tell you, or you don't have no one else to be able to, how do I explain it? So like, let's say like if you have an opinion, let's say like you wear clothes, like you wore a dress, right? And you don't really know how it looks. So you're gonna ask your friends like, hey, what do you think about what I'm wearing? Because you want to gain outside perception. I mean, outside opinion, to see if your perspective matches with theirs, right? Because if you wear something, maybe you might like it, but then your friends might be like, oh, I don't really like that. It doesn't really look good on you. Then you might be like, damn, like, okay, maybe it doesn't really look good then. But initially, you thought it looked good, right? So that means if you were by yourself, if those people weren't around, you would have actually thought that looks good. But because you're around your friends, then you might think, damn, okay, maybe it doesn't really look good, right? Because we've all been in that situation, right? So, but that's what I'm saying. When you're by yourself, though, the first instinct, the first impulse of what you would do is who you truly are. That's how you really know who you are. Like, it's like, how do I explain? Like, if there was a mental experiment, right, a social experiment where it's like, for instance, there's like a video I've seen on social media where there will be two people standing on the side, and there would and there will be one person standing in the middle, and both of the people on the side will purposely look at the person in the middle, and whoever the person in the middle looks at first is who they have a first inclination to look at. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. When you don't have no people around you, whatever thing you naturally do by yourself or you do if no one was around is who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you know who you are. So that's when a lone warrior, that's what a lone warrior is. A lone warrior is someone that is, excuse me, is someone that is comfortable being by themselves, but at the same time can be amongst other people. Like they can also mingle amongst other people, but at the same time they don't they don't yearn for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're comfortable if that doesn't also happen too. You know what I'm saying? So a perfect example of that is like in the movie Eli, where he had the Bible on one hand and the sword or a gun on the other hand. You know what I'm saying? That's a perfect example of a lone warrior. Another lone warrior in the Bible might be like Samson. You know what I'm saying? Or I guess yeah, obviously like the well-known Jesus Christ. Or like was a lone warrior. Yeah, because David he had an army, so that was so yeah. Like someone like Samson, like is a perfect example. You know what I mean? He was a lone warrior. You know, he did things on his own terms. You know what I'm saying? That's how it should like. That's how it will be. So it's very good to sometimes, even if you're someone that is very social, just go on a spiritual voyage where you just you might go on a walk. You might even be in your neighborhood just by yourself and just ponder to yourself, or you might go nature walking or hiking and just be amongst the woods and just think to yourself, like, how far you've come. You know what I mean? That is tapping into that lone warrior energy. And then it says the will to conquer is portrayed through their visual. So whatever you're trying to conquer in life, whether it's your passion, your goals, your vision, people can see that. People can see that you're very determined to achieve what you want to achieve. People can see that. Pain is the fuel to their engine of passion. Their ease of mind is gained through personal satisfaction. So pain is the fuel to the engine of passion because passion is also equal to pain. Passion and pain is goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're passionate about something, it's gonna bring some form of pain. If you're whether it's love, sex, exercising, all these things bring some form of pain because it also brings some form of passion also at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You can be passionate about someone and then something might happen where, you might be let down and then that brings pain. You know what I'm saying? Or you might be working out and you push yourself to your limit and that brings pain, but also it brings gains at the same time. Because pain does bring gain. Even when you're going through a certain situation, you gain knowledge and wisdom even through that pain. But you have to be passionate about it in the first place for that to even be, you know? And then it says, yeah, their ease of mind is gained through personal satisfaction. So your ease of mind is gained through personal satisfaction. You don't need other people to be satisfied with yourself. You're satisfied with just who you are as a person and just how you are. You know what I mean? No opposition or roadblock shall distort their path. The power of their mind influences all masses without contact. So no opposition or roadblock shall distort your path because you have to move like water, you have to move like the air, you have to move like something not tangible. And that's when you can be able to flow through or fly through anything that is physical or tangible. So if for you to maneuver through the physical, you have to operate in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it's saying. You have to operate in the spirit because that's the only way you'll be able to maneuver through this physical experience. The power of their mind influences all masses without contact because your charismatic gifts, your mentality, your just the way you think. it, if you can influence people just by the way you speak or the way you talk to people, whether good or bad, you have some form of influence. You know what I mean? And that is, you know, non-contact influence. So that is some form of psychic energy and power that you're tapping into. You can, utilize it for what you want to, or you know what I'm saying, just depending on what end of the stick you're in. Um, and then it says self reflection allows the opportunity for reevaluation. Stand firm when faced with opposition in all occasion. So self reflection allows the opportunity for reevaluation. So that's why I talk about meditation, self reflecting, just going on walks and things like that. It helps you reevaluate yourself, um, because evolution is all about evolving. And to evolve, you have to be able to break through certain boundaries. You know what I'm saying? That's how things work. For a mentality to evolve, it has to break through a boundary. It has to come through your mind. You have to speak it out first of all. Because if you keep it within your mind, they can never go nowhere. Same thing with a child. If you don't give birth to that child, it can never grow to experience life. So it's very important to, I guess, always know what you want to achieve in life, and always evaluate. And the way when you reevaluate yourself, you evolve. Stand firm when faced with opposition in all occasions. You know what I mean? So when you stand firm in opposition, that means you're creating that push and pull energy, and that makes you stronger. It's like going to the gym. The opposition, you make the weight even heavier, right? And the heavier you make the weight, the more opposition it's creating when you're trying to pull it up. But that's what creates the muscles. That's what creates the tension. That's what helps your muscle tear and repair. You know what I'm saying? So in life, you're going to be like a muscle. You're going to tear and repair yourself. And that's what makes you stronger. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then it says, certain blockages in life may prevent any perception of success. Therefore, once the issue is detected, work more and talk less. So, certain things in life may be blocked from you, and that can be good or bad based on whoever it is. So, you have to see it like this though. If you're always someone that, let's say for instance, like you like to go to the gym, but let's say like something happened where you're not able to have your physical transport, like your car, to drive to the gym, then you just reroute your energy. Instead of going to that environment, you reroute your energy to the park, and you can, do calisthenics. You can find some bar to do the same workout. You know what I mean? It might not be the exact same type of workout that you're doing, but you're still doing some form of workout, and you're still gaining some form of healthy benefit from it. So it's the same thing in life. If something isn't working, then you just redirect your energy into something else that can still benefit you. You know what I'm saying? Remember, when you're moving in the spirit, then you know how to maneuver in the physical. So that's very important, not to always take certain situations personal, and just know that, okay, if this happens, how can I adapt? And the more you adapt, the more it makes you powerful, it makes you stronger, because now you have an adaptive um, technique about you. And it's a very powerful ability to have in life, because your mind has to adapt, and your mind is adapting through experiences. That's what helps you grow. So when your mind helps you adapt through experiences and helps you grow, then at the same time it makes your mind more fluid, you know, and you're able to see different perspective in different situations that you normally wouldn't see before, by having just one perception. It forces you to grow and make your mind more expandable. And then it says, therefore, therefore, once the issue is detected, work more and talk less, because actions speak louder than words. So it's very important to work more and talk less, because that's the greatest language. It's your actions, it's your results. Result speaks for itself. Even if people doubt you, just who you are, the way you carry yourself, the way you maneuver through life, the way you maneuver through people and certain, experiences and challenges and things like that, that speaks for itself. And that's what's going to vindicate you, you know, in in times of trial. It's your actions, it's your character, it's the way you move in life, the way you maneuver through things. That's what people are going to really see. You know what I'm saying? Because Even if you say something, but if you do the opposite, then people cannot really see that. But if you move the way you want to move and you don't really talk about it and you just get to work, then you don't even really have to say anything. You know what I'm saying? And then it says each individual is judged based on his or her characteristics. However, the mind of an indigo being defies the laws of physics. So each individual is judged based on his or her characteristics because your characteristics or your character is what you utilize to socialize with other people. So that's you're also so just like you're judging yourself on what character you're gonna display to the public, other people also judging that character also. You know what I mean? It's a two-way street. So when I say that, I'm saying each individual is judged based on his or her characteristics because people are going to perceive you based on the way you act or the way you treat them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people might have their own perspective, and that's fine because you cannot. There's like billions of people in this world, so you cannot police how people are going to perceive you. You know what I'm saying? You just have to be yourself, and like I said, talk, work more, talk less. So when you're working, you're always evolving, and you're always adding new tools and new perspectives. So that's going to be the greatest perspective. That's going to be the greatest characteristics you could ever have is being able to evolve. You know what I'm saying? Because when you can evolve, then evolve is what creates creativity, and creativity is what gives life to existence. You know what I'm saying? Creativity is evolution, and evolution is birth. So so yeah, when I say each individual is judged based on his or her characteristics, that's what it means. Yeah. So just learning how to judge yourself in a healthy way, in a balanced perspective way. Because if you judge yourself negatively and you forget to judge yourself positively, then you're not balanced. But if you judge yourself positively all the time, but you forget to judge yourself negatively, then you're also not balanced. So you want to create a balanced perspective, and that's how you'll be able to maneuver through life. And then it says, however, the mind of an indigo being defies the laws of physics because the indigo being has the indigenous spirit in them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what an indigo being is. And when they have that in them, they're moving, like I said, in the spirit. And when you move in the spirit, you defy the laws of physics because the spirit is what controls the physics, is the physical, right? Your internal, your mind is what controls this physical body, right? So it's the same thing. Um, for you to have that, you have to go within. You have to go to the primal source. You have to go to straight to the primal source, and the primal source is within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And when you know who you are, and you know who you truly are, that's when everything will start to come into fruition for you. That's when everything will start to manifest for you because you're moving in the right cycle. You're going from within out instead of the other way around. That's the other way around. The physical cannot go within. You know what I mean? It's the within goes comes out. Like a child cannot go back into you cannot force a child into a mother's womb. The mother can only give birth to that child. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually how it goes. So that is the last of a dying breed. Um, when I say the last of a dying breed, it means whatever mentality or whatever perception or whatever physical body that you've brought into this lifetime, you want it to be something that leaves a legacy. You know what I'm saying? You want to be something that left something that people can remember forever, because that is the most important thing. Because timeless music, those are the music that people remember forever. The music that people can relate to, no matter what civilization, no matter what society they're living in, they have some form of connection or some form of mental relativity to that song, to those lyrics. Those are the songs that stand through the test of times. Whereas the party music, those things are only based on the physical things that are tangible. You know what I mean? But things come and go every day. You know what I'm saying? So those are the most important things. The songs that speak to the soul, those are the things that people remember. You know what I mean? The words that speak to the soul. Yeah, the words that glorify the physical, yes, it's good. It's good, to party and have a good time, of course. But the ones that you're always going to be like, wow, like that artist spoke to me, or even in terms of religion, the book, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, all these things, these words spoke to people. You know what I'm saying? It touched people's soul. It went within. It didn't just uplift their physical flesh. It uplifted their spirit. And once you can uplift someone's spirit, even just you being your energy, just the way you move, your characteristics, your charisma, you uplifting someone's spirit is you being in the works of God, because that's what God did. God likes to give life, he likes to raise the dead, likes to uplift things, you know what I'm saying? Raise it into a new plateau, expand. That's what God likes to do. So if you can do that around people, if you can just be around people and you can make them feel uplifted, after they listen to you, then you're working in the spirit of God, and that is how you defy the physical, the laws of physics, because then you're in a certain frequency now, and you're tapping into a different type of perspective and knowledge and perception. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, always remember to live a legacy. Always remember to walk in your legacy and create a new destiny. And until next time, take care.